Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. Modern Masters 2017 was just announced for release next spring. You know what that means. We obviously have to figure out what the heck is going to be in the set. We don't have a lot of information to go on, but we have a little bit, which is definitely enough for us to get started on figuring the set out. In this two-part series, we're going to look at which cards have the most realistic chances of being reprinted in this set, and which cards would be the absolute best to reprint. It's going to be fun. If you enjoy videos like these and want more of them in the future, be sure to hit that like button. Helps out a lot. Now remember, before we dive in, we're going to talk about both the most realistic cards to reprint and the best cards to reprint. What do I mean by best? I mean cards that are both popular and need increased accessibility. I don't care if you think Ad Nauseam is too expensive, that isn't going to be in these videos. Way too narrow. These videos are about hitting the overarching, most needed cards. Lastly, Wizards of the Coast went out of their way to specify that trips to Innistrad and Return to Ravnica were going to be a thing. That's where we're going to start. Alright, I think I've said my piece. Let's get right into it. If Wizards tells you that we're going somewhere, we should probably listen. We'll begin with Innistrad block, which means Innistrad, Dark Ascension, and Avacyn Restored. Nothing is off limits here. Remember how we used the excuse that everything couldn't be in Modern Masters 2015 because they needed cards for Modern Masters 2017? Well, here's 2017, so we're not pulling our punches. If we're going back to Innistrad, we need a Liliana of the Veil reprint. I will not budge on this. The card is played in Jund, Abzan, Mardu control decks, Grixis control decks, it's even played in Legacy for goodness sakes. And despite massive outcry, there's been no non-promo reprint. She's $100. That's unacceptable, beyond unacceptable. If we're going to Innistrad, Liliana of the Veil has to be printed or it's a travesty. There, I said it. You know, there's one other card we better have as well. Oh yeah, I didn't forget. Snapcaster Mage is certainly a high value target for a set like this. Sitting above $50 a piece right now, the Innistrad rares in Jeskai control, any control variant really, Scapeshift, most blue decks in Modern to be honest. The big problem? It's played more in Legacy. Miracles, Legacy Delver decks, Deathblade. Snapcaster Mage is a huge staple there. If Eternal Masters 2 is going to be a thing, you could see Snapcaster Mage miss a reprint this year in favor of an Eternal reprint next year. Would I like that? No, I would not, but you gotta admit, that is definitely something Wizards would do. Those are the two big ones. Before we focus on the rest of Innistrad block, I should mention something. Snapcaster Mage might not be the only victim of Eternal Masters 2. Cavern of Souls, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, and Craterhoof Behemoth are all high-value cards that need reprints. They're also all cards that see significantly more play in Legacy than they do in Modern. Not that they don't see play in Modern, just that, they put up better results in Legacy, which may lead to them being forgotten for Modern Masters this time around. So what does that leave us with? A lot, actually. Let's take a look. Original Innistrad has Stony Silence, almost $10, Past in Flames, almost $10, both of those would be nice reprints, but I'm looking at lands from the set. The Innistrad lands are all worth a decent amount, most at least $5 each. They're played in Modern and Commander pretty extensively. They wouldn't make up a decent land cycle, but I have my eyes on something better, which we'll talk about later. If we're not talking about the classic rare land cycle, I think a few of the utility lands could use a reprint. Gavony Township is a $6 staple in Modern. Even as a one-off, I'd like this back before it gets ridiculous. Besides those cards, nothing super crazy pops out from original Innistrad. Dark Ascension is a weird set. The most expensive card is Mikaeus the Unhallowed due to a ton of Commander play. That's why it's $20. After that, Jund All-Star Huntmaster of the Fells is sitting at around $13. That'd make a good reprint. So would Grafdigger's Cage at $11.50. If they wanted a zombie sub-theme, Gravecrawler and Geralf's Messenger are both worth $5, so that brings some additional value. There are other interesting cards in Dark Ascension, but we're focusing on the best and most needed reprints, so for now we'll have to move on. Avacyn Restored is a set that created eternally playable cards. Gristlebrand, Cavern of Souls, Craterhoof Behemoth, Avacyn Angel of Hope. All of these cards need reprints, yes. All of them also see more play in Legacy than in Modern, hence our Eternal Masters 2 issue. If that set wasn't a thing, I'd say you could expect at least 2 of these cards to be reprinted. Since Eternal Masters does exist, don't think you can do that, and that sucks. Of course, there are other cards of value here. Restoration Angel sees huge play in Modern and could use a reprint as it's above $10 right now. Tamiyo seems like a fine reprint, but I'd be worried it's out of place. I'd love it, and the card is $20, so you know it would be welcome, but we're talking about a walker that doesn't see a lick of Modern play right now. I don't want to get my hopes up. Besides those, Exquisite Blood is nice, but it's a commander staple. Sigarda's value is mostly commander based, same with Gisela. Entreat is legacy. Yeah, I think we've exhausted our Avacyn Restored options. Let's move on to Return to Ravnica, the other block Wizards specifically mentioned in their announcement. Comprised of Return to Ravnica, Gatecrash, and Dragon's Maze, Return to Ravnica block has a ton of playable cards. The issue? Most of them are not expensive. The entire block as a whole is incredibly cheap with a few exceptions. We'll begin with Return to Ravnica itself. The set's value is entirely based on the Shocklands right now. The 5 of them are in the top 10 most valuable cards in the set. We don't want Shocklands back in Modern Masters. At an MSRP of $10 per pack, Shocks aren't going to help us. Of course they are modern staples, but we really aren't having an availability or price issue, so let's ignore them for now. The best cards in Return to Ravnica for Modern are Abrupt Decay and Supreme Verdict. Decay is sitting at $10 right now and the Verdict at $6. There are other good cards in the set obviously, but much cheaper than these two. Even if they were to reprint these staples, we're still under the MSRP of a pack. And that's all Return to Ravnica brings value-wise. Let's hope we have more luck with Gatecrash. This just in, we are not going to have more luck with Gatecrash. Shocklands are 5 out of the top 5 most expensive cards in the set. Literally 1 through 5, all of them worth between $10 and $13. While that is a non-zero amount, again, it isn't what we're looking for in regards to a land cycle for the set, so we'll pass on those. After that, there's nothing. No, I'm not joking, there's nothing. Domri Raid is $8, sees no play. Legion Loyalist, $6, good card but easy to get. Then nothing, there's just nothing. So Gatecrash is a bust. What about Dragon's Maze? Voice of Resurgence. How much do you want to bet that we're only going back to Ravnica so we can get a reprint of Voice of Resurgence? This $30 card is worth more than the next 8 most expensive cards in the set combined. Dragon's Maze is a pile of poop, and Voice of Resurgence is the only thing dragging it back from an actual garbage fire. Rael Zarek is $9, cool. The friggin' Elemental token is the 3rd most expensive card in the set at $5. Look, just Dragon's Maze sucks for value. All of Return to Ravnica sucks for value. It's a great block for gameplay. I really enjoyed it, but wow, there is no money here. Oh boy. So what have we learned so far? Innistrad has a ton of high value cards that need reprints. Half of them we could totally see. The other half probably slated for Eternal Masters too, but there is hope. Innistrad has a lot of greatness. Return to Ravnica, not so much. Great set, wonderful mechanics, good gameplay, garbage for value. Besides the Shocklands, there's only a single card in the entire block worth more than $9. That's not a good thing. Hopefully the set doesn't focus too much on this block. That'd be ugly. Now that we're done with that, what do we really need reprinted the most? Do I really have to tell you? Fetch lands. For the love of all things holy, fetch lands. We friggin' need fetch lands. I do not want to wait another year. I don't find that acceptable. If you're going to print a land cycle, please, just please make it fetch lands, please. We need the Zendikar lands back so badly. How many times can you look at this graph and not want to vomit? This is not okay. This is going to destroy Modern. We have a mini dual land situation going on here. Reprint them at rare, please. You have to, just please. Okay, I got a little heated there. If you don't print fetch lands, we'll take the filter lands. We'll only be kind of happy about it, but we'll take them. Played in multiple strategies in Modern, the filter lands are a great way to infuse the set with value. Led by Twilight Mire, the filter lands clearly aren't going down anytime soon. Zendikar Expeditions are cool, but they're hardly real reprints. We need at least a part of the cycle to come back. All the way from Cascade Bluffs to Rugged Prairie, these prices are going up, and that is not okay. Personally, I think the fetches or filters have to be reprinted in this set. If they aren't, whatever is there instead of them won't even make MSRP. I mean, 3 of the Worldwake lands do, but I don't want to be the one opening Lava Claw Reaches, so fetches or filters. Modern Masters 2015 did a great job at reprinting a lot of key mythics and some decent rares. Where it really failed, the uncommons. Totally bombed on printing good uncommons. If Modern Masters 2017 is going to do better, we need better uncommons. Which uncommons, you ask? Oh, I'll tell you. Lightning Bolt and Path to Exile are the top 2 most played cards in Modern right now. If they aren't in the set, that's ridiculous. I don't care that Bolt has been reprinted recently, this is a card that needs a million reprints. Path to Exile is in a much more dire situation than Bolt though. Sitting at $10, it's outrageous this card wasn't in Modern Masters 2015. We really need a price reduction there. Time to rattle off a ton of other uncommon worthy cards. Okay, here we go, rapid fire. Gitaxian Probe is a top 10 most played card. Uncommon rarity shifted, I don't care. Ancient Stirrings. Not only is this a staple in Tron, but it's infiltrated the Eldrazi decks. Makes it even more relevant as a good reprint target, and at over $3 each, totally unacceptable. Rarity shifted to uncommon, just get it printed. Lightning Helix. Premier burn spell in Modern, played everywhere it can be, over $5 each right now. Even with 5 printings, this is not enough. It has to come back. Wild Nikado could be the next $5 common if we aren't careful. A primary staple in every Modern Zoo deck, this Cat Warrior has to come back. Shards of Alara and 2 limited printings, not enough, bring it back. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, Spell Pierce needs more than 1 printing. Only ever printed in Zendikar, this Modern mainstay counterspell is over $2. For a common printed in the last 10 years to be over $2, no, fix it. Kitchen Finks. Do I really even have to say anything at this point? This is a $15 uncommon. $15, 15. Are you serious? Are you actually serious? If this isn't in Modern Masters 2017, I have no words. Finally, friggin' Spell Snare. One of the most popular counters in the format, Spell Snare still costs around $8 even with a Modern Masters printing. That isn't good enough, it needs to come back. Alright, nailed it. Obviously, there are other great candidates for quality common and uncommon reprints, but I strongly believe that the ones I mentioned are the best candidates. Of course, it's important to reprint quality rares and mythics, but the commons and uncommons are the foundation of the set. They add actual value to the pack. That's one of the reasons players loved Modern Masters 1 so much. It had great uncommon quality. Modern Masters 2015 had virtually nothing. That made a huge difference in pack value. It's just something to think about. This was only the first of 2 videos on this subject. In the next installment, we're going to focus on the mythics and rares that need reprinting the most. Until then, what do you think about Modern Masters 2017's potential? Do you think it can correct the mistakes made in Modern Masters 2015 and really bring the set back to prominence for a lot of people? What would have to be in the set for you to buy it? Which cards do you want to see the most? I gotta know what you're thinking. This is always a huge release, and I know a lot of you care about Modern, so please share your thoughts. As always, be sure to subscribe for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source, I'm Wedge, thanks for watching, we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com, lots of Modern talk, and while there are some crazy expensive Modern cards out there, Modern Masters 2015 did nuke the prices of some great staples. Daybreak Coronet, the bomb aura for those enchantment decks, is still reeling from its Modern Masters 2015 reprint. You can grab copies right now for only $5 each. Seems pretty sweet considering it was once like, what, 30 bucks? Yeah, good deal. Deck not your thing? Not an issue. How about Surgical Extraction? One of my favorite sideboard cards in older formats, only $5 just like the Coronet. If you need these Modern staples, now is a great time to pick them up. Enjoy.